Ducktales, 20 years later, episode 19. In the fields, among the grazing cows, as Shirley ran his hands on horseback, the sea duck stood inert, tramping down the grass where his landing gear met the turf. Spread out beside the great yellow bird was a brown blanket, with sets of old but lovable tools laid out. The front engine blocked the sea duck when the nose was open, and Huey, having stripped off his surf front and loading his jacket in his arms, while fanning himself with his hat, stood Louis in civilian garb. The extent of his injuries seemed to be healed, and nothing a few lingering aches in the ribs, and only when jumping from building to building. The shirtless Huey stood up straight, while his upper body seemed larger to Louis when he had first met after all these years. He understandably had a few chances to pay any real attention to things like that since the days of Baiano Pozzuta. Louis was a little irked, frankly, that Huey had been able to bulk up so much by flying planes and getting into fistfights, while he, who did exercises every morning after work and was supremely active during the night besides, still had retained the life form natural to ducks in their ilk. Huey went on in the conversation. "He's alive, Louis. That's so stupid." "Paul McCartney is dead, Huey. You can't argue with the evidence," said Louis, annoyed by his brother's ignorance. "Cover Abbey Road, the backwards Methodists at Strawberry Fields at Revolutionary 9. Where's Reload?" The timber confused her. "I buried on. Turn me on, dead man. How do you argue that?" "He's still putting out records, Louis. Why would this? What's the imposter's time supposed to be again?" Louis tapped his head, as if imparting some partial clue. "William Shears Campbell, Huey. Billy Shears." Huey rolled his right. "Right. So that band broke up last year. Why would Billy want to continue this charade?" Louis shrugged. "To use Paul's good name to launch a solo career, I guess. He's going to do it too." Louis nodded, satisfied his point had been made. "Paul was killed in a car crash starring Sergeant Pepper. I can't see how anybody could see it differently." "See, this is why I like the Stones better," said Huey. "Beatles are so pretentious." Louis growled, brow creasing in frustration. "Philistine. I know what I like. I don't like having to see stupid little messages in everything I listen to. What's the point? Can't you just enjoy the music?" Um, why not both?" "Boo! Of course I enjoy. I don't even know why I try. It's always like this when we talk about the Beatles." "When you talk about the Beatles," said Huey, diving into the engine block and wielding a wrench, "you always bring it up. They broke up, they're gone, live with it." "No, they're gonna make a comeback one day. I'm with Louis on this." "They might make a comeback," said Louis. "Besides, Lennon is keeping the flame alive, even if he is with that woman. I wish I wasn't stuck in the middle of nowhere. I hear he put out a new album, but it probably isn't a record store for a few 100,000 miles in any direction." "I always found Lennon too, I don't know, spiteful," said Huey. "Like, he would look at his fans and think, they're so stupid." "Not spiteful," Louis sneered. "Above it all. Anyway, what do you know? You don't even listen to them." "Of course I listen to them. You wore out 3 copies of Sergeant Pepper, making everyone in the house listen to them. Everyone was sick of it by the time the 3rd one died." "You have to agree that after that, all bets were off. It was the first truly new thing to happen in music in years." "Yes, maybe the first 3,000 times. After that it gets old." "Puh!" called Louis, falling silent as Huey turned back towards the engine. Finally eyes lit up, a rebuttal so perfect, so cunning, it only comes once in a lifetime. Huey, Huey! Cried the karaoke girls as they ran up. "Huey!" "Oh, shoot," said Louis, letting the epic burn fade away. "Oh, hey girls," said Huey, his smile and grace attaining a bit of masculine posturing, though with the slightest bit of confusion as to which of the girls he directed his charm towards. "What up?" We rehearsed perfection, all 3 girls, with bright smiles pointing to the sky. "Ha ha," said Louis, thinking it so cute he just killed himself. "There's no talking to you about some things, Huey. I'm out of here." "You'll be back?" Huey smirked. "I'm all you got. Farmhands wouldn't know Hey Jude from a hole in the wall, and Dewey hasn't listened to music since 1959. Louis already started off, however. "Whatever," and he was gone. Huey laughed, and turned back towards the girls, who each echoed his jolly smile as he swarmed over them, twining their arms in his. "So, what does you girls want exactly?" Amelia smiled and looked at Maria. Maria took the smile and amplified it with a giggle, and passed her gaze to Rosalina. Rosalina gave them both a smirking look before turning back to her towards Huey. Nothing. Well, said Huey, their strange, wordless communication reminding him how he and his brothers used to be, marveling that three girls who had grown up from apart from another could learn that trick. I'm almost done tuning at the Sea Duck. Would any of you like to join me for supper? A hand, he wasn't quite sure whose, rubbed his hand through his bare chest. You like that, said Rosalina. Huey smiled, wondering which one it was who touched him. Even if the girls were aware of the fact that since Bahia they had gone to bed with Huey at least twice each, and wondered how angry they would be at him and each other if they ever found out. He then thought of their uncle/father. He then thought of his own corpse, with Fonchito standing over it, whooping and hollering. The thought caused him to laugh quickly and break away from the three amorous girls. It bloated the engine fire Gotane's son Veer. I'll meet you kids at the tavern, okay? Okay, Huey, they all said, before each blowing a kiss, causing Huey to panic again. Which one should I do something cute with? Thankfully, they were gone before the imaginary kisses flying through the air could land on their marks, and Huey breathed a sigh of relief. As utterly exciting as the situation was, it couldn't be good for his blood pressure. Huey, you are in a situation that some men, especially myself, could only dream of. Do not run from it. Abuse it. Use it to its full power. Live with it. Respect it. Note to all you men out there, if you try this, she will hunt you. He finished up tuning the engine, with just a few tiny ancient components, and was free to join the girls in the tavern. Sure to be lovely stew were waiting for them. He turned as a cloud passed overhead, blotting out the sun, looked up on the window, and found the clouds had gotten a lot darker and closer to the earth since he was a kid. A young woman with bright red patterned feathers placed 2 mugs of cool, frothing beer on the table, before placing them between a small glass of water. Thanks, said Dewey, sitting at the table with Jose and Panchito, looking perfectly miserable. Now tell me, you two, where did PK run off to? Like do you think we would know? Said Jose, taking a puff of his thick cigar. He is an enigma to us as much as he is to you, Dewey. As he reached to the fire to chase the witch, he just seemed to vanish away. Dewey closed his eyes, fingered his water glass, staring at the scene that covered up the center of his chest. Huey and Louis said as much. I was hoping you two. He shook his head. Never mind. I just wish I could get a beat on the guy. First he beats up Louis, then helps us find Fenton Cranshaw, then helps us against Magic Dispel. Even if he is on our side, all the same, Panchito, I'd like your men to be on the lookout for him. Probably still around. See ya, Miko. The three drank in silence. Panchito with relish, Jose with a mind full of wistful remembrance and Sakeki, and Dewey with annoyance at the apparent ignorance of his allies. He was so sure he remembered them and PK, almost acting like old friends. That's the way, Dewey, said Panchito, looking indecently. Where is Rippy? She and you have never been fought for too long. He went down to his wire. Is taking care of Doofus. The big guy, said Jose, his face expressing distaste of someone watching a soap opera where his favorite characters do not end up together. I know the feeling. It is not nice of her. We used to be old friends before we grew apart. Apparently, Webby was friends with him a little longer than we were. Of course, said Jose. Machita, I regret to ask, but could you leave us alone for a moment? Machita looked towards the sullen duck. The concerned parrot understood. Say no more, amigo. He then stood, taking his drink and walking over to a burly crow who had the guard patrols. What's this about, Jose? I would like to speak of matters of love, Dewey. Dewey started, blinking as his head rose quickly. He turned towards Jose's smirking, knowing face, before he darted his eyes away, afraid looking the green parrot might reveal something out of order. I don't know what you're talking about. Some men drink, some write poetry, some men soak. Alcoholic people cost money, so I made a nice kiss. Jose placed a hand on Dewey's shoulder. You are in love, my friend. It's not. She's my personal assistant. I just miss her, organization. I did not mention Webby. I only mentioned love. Oh, oh. He crossed his arms. Well, that's ridiculous. This new doofus fellow, he is good to you now. Well, they seem to act together. They seem, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. Of course. Here Dewey sat for a moment, drinking. Dewey spoke up, filling the trap of silence Jose had left. I know they were friends and all, but they act like they have a past together or something. Perhaps they do. Yes, but Webby is... How do I... Courage, Dewey. You can fight back. You and she have been together for too long now, and through too much. You tried to look positive. Guess so. The only thing holding you back from her is yourself, not that doofus fellow. You're... Jose, Suddenly, the door to the terrace swung up, and letting the bright sunshine into the bar. The shadow that stood in the frame was that of a duck. Dewey stood. Huey spoke. Don't get up on my account. He began to walk forward, hands up in the air, followed by another figure. We got company. The glint of a sword pointing towards the duck's back caused every gun and driver to be drawn. A little one. Said the Snowman's voice. Run along stoop, and I am running him through, yes? Matita raised his hand and gave a signal. Every man, woman, and child in the gun lowered his or her pistol. Told you there was a little kid. Thank you very much for your cooperation, said the voice, stepping into the light of the tavern. Dewey yelled, Commodore! So glad you remember me, Mr. Dewey Duck, fugitive. We have been tracking you for quite some time. No! Dewey cried. Not now! Parakeets rolled his eyes. Oh, do not get upset. I am not here to arrest you. He planted a fancy boot into Huey's back and pushed, sending it to the ground, then seized his sword. I am here with my crew on behalf of Schuss. The investigation on Mr. Willard Kagan is underway. Dewey perked up suddenly. Huey crawled away before slightly standing to his feet, turning. Why didn't you say so? You didn't have to. Because I still do not like you. It is as well within my legal options. Yes, no? He smiled deviously. What are you doing here? He said, a voice from behind Perry Kid. Kid looked behind to see the green phantom standing behind him. Face-painted mask obscuring his face. Hands hovering over his utility belt. It seems that I am surrounded, the coyote said with a smile, raising his arms. This is all right, yes? Just merely wants you all taken out of custody. A twitch of guns and gadgets. No, this is not like that. You have been partially assaulted. What do you mean? You think we're innocent? Maybe. In any case, I am required to take you in peacefully. I do not get to start shooting unless you refuse. You looked at Dewey. Please refuse. All eyes turned to Dewey. Ours crossed slowly before nodding. If it will help such this investigation, we're happy to cooperate. He looked up. But only us three. The others have nothing to do with it. No! Said a voice from the top of the stairs. Webby ran down, followed by Doofus. You're taking Dewey. I'm coming too. Webby, said Dewey. Webby, don't. No, I'm coming and that's final. Me too, said Doofus. Shoulder appeared to be fully healed. And thus, seemingly from nowhere, the three karaoke girls appeared from nowhere. Had glanced onto Huey. Girls! Jose smiled, although not with pain beyond the sully facade. Yes. Well, such a big family, scoffed Commodore. Very well. Within the other Dewey Duck. He then turned to face with the green phantom. To one side, yes? No? Louis moved out of the way, and letting him out the door. All the members of the group gathered in the middle of the room wordlessly. Hope sprang amongst them. There was a chance to finally stop running. Their chance to be safe and secure for once. Louis thought of St. Canard, and the climbing and swimming type buildings. Huey thought of the sky, and the cape in the world. Dewey thought of his business, and what he would do with it once it was his again. Nodding their heads in agreement, they each dispersed their separate ways, and prepared for the long trip back to the Sill home base. Well, you guys better be excited. After all, we only got about 5 or 6 chapters left. Chattering amongst themselves, the three girls picked up 3 small bags filled with as many supplies as they could fit.
The conversation meandered about nothing, plainly ignoring the big move they were about to take. The closet of their small room in the tavern, filled with nothing but a few extra dresses, was stripped bare, and each colored dress was shuffled off into the bag to the appropriate girl. There came a knock on the door, and the girl smiled. They ran towards their places. Amelia draped herself over the small chair like a duvet, pulling a strap off her shoulder and letting it hang. Maria sat on the bed to read a book, legs curved out under her. Rosalia took to the bed, lying on her stomach in such a way that the cavernous canyon formed by her breasts was accentuated by the squish between her body and mattress. The three girls nodded towards each other before they said, "Come in!" The door opened, and the girls looked their sexiest, and were momently disappointed when it turned out to be their uncle Carioca and not Huey Duck. The three of them switched their language to Portuguese. The following has been subtitled. "Hello, Tio Carioca," they said, easy to more comfortable, less sexy position. "Hello, girls," said Jose, as he walked in supported by his umbrella, cigar between his fingers. "I'd like to speak with you." Millie stood up, allowing Jose to sit. The girls surrounded their uncle, looking at him with familiar adoration. "What's this about, Tio Carioca?" Rosalia asked. Jose began to look a bit uncomfortable. "You see, girls, you're all going away from me, and I don't know if I shall ever see you again." The girls all began to speak at once, and Jose raised a kindly hand to silence them. "I do not wish to lie to you girls any longer. I think you are old enough to choose." "What is it about, Tio Carioca?" asked Rosalina, laying her hands on Jose's arms. Just for time, Jose let out a sigh of smoke from a cigar. "It is about your parents. Your mothers, all of them, are beautiful, wonderful women, and your fathers are good, honorable men I do not desire to call my cousins." His hand was trembling suddenly, grabbing the arms of the chair lightly as if with no motion. I use them all well, and I am sorry to see that I have done your fathers a great disservice. I am I am somewhat religious man, I think. I've always been. That is why I never married to see too many women. Even in my advanced days, I cannot stop myself." He looked at the girls and took a finger. "You must never fall in love with a man like me, my little ones. He'll break your heart." "Yes, Tio Carioca," said the girl stiffly. "Is this what you wanted to say?" asked Rosalia. "Is this about Yui?" "No, no, no, no. Yui is good man, to be sure. I talk about myself. You see, girls, your mothers were very dear to me, and I—" They stopped and felt three dainty hands lay themselves over his own wrinkled and gently, and took to the faces of each of his daughters, so alike to him, yet with their basic femininity making them no different. Each of them smiled kindly. The eldest spoke towards us. "Our mothers taught us, dear Carioca." "Well then, you already know." His eyebrows raised up, a crinkle of remorse. "That I am." They nodded. Jose stood suddenly, taking a pain drag on his ever-present cigar. "Then you must think I'm—" He leaned on the wall to the room, laying a hand on him. I feel terrible what I did to them, your mothers and fathers. I can't help it. You must hate me for what I have done to you." Right after Jose, Adelia was the first to speak, and in a beautiful excess of language. "No, dear Carioca, we always love you. We all love you. Your visits to our homes were some of the best memories of our lives. When our mothers told us about you, they did not tell us in regretful age. They said so in wistful memories of the love long past. They love our fathers, but they adored you. You gave them the greatest nights of romance and passion. We owe you a debt of gratitude. We three grew apart as cousins and dear friends in pen pals. But when we were told we were all suddenly daughters of Jose Carioca, and while we will always love our fathers as fathers, we will always love us for tying us together as sisters." The three parrot girls gave their uncle a great hug, and together, as they embraced, Jose could feel his eyes mist over him, and from it swell in his chest. An overflow of gorgeous emotion that he never felt before, a feeling of fatherly love, rather than mere affection as he had felt before, come over him. I couldn't help but wipe away his rapidly forming tears. "Rosalina," he said, touching her face. "Maria," in hers. "Amelia," in hers. Blanco, I cannot believe I have never been as happy as I am at this moment." He circled the three girls in a strong embrace, which they reciprocated, wrapping their arms around them and each other. I I only wish I had more time. Knock on the door. Webby's voice called, "Oh, it's time to go, girls! Get ready!" As I'll say, must you leave now? Rosalie nodded. "If we don't follow for healing now till," Maria continued, "we'll regret it. Was the rest of our lives," says Amelia. Jose, a great believer in life, and taking offense to the fullest, "Why did he ever?" understood his three daughters perfectly. It was too late for him to be their father. Too late for the three blossoms in spring to stay cooped up with him until he was ready to let them go. They had to chase after their love by any means necessary. Thus is he in his turbulent, amorous, and fantastic youth. And then, I give my blessing. I may not be able to speak for your parents, but I can speak for myself. He loosened his grip and looked at the girls. Now your cheeks and beaks were stained with tears as well. Go. Go to him. Chase after him. Has the time of your lives. I only have one request. What is it, Tio Karyoka? When you are ready, oh, come back to me. Tell me all about your adventures. He nodded, wiping his eyes, satisfied with her care here today. Now go. Don't let me see you again until you have lived. With a kiss, each girl left the great parent alone in his room, taking her bag and departing without so much as a second look. Amelia was the last to leave. She gave a strained goodbye as she exited the hall towards life. Jose watched the empty doorframe for a long time after that, hoping that perhaps this somehow they would have a change of heart. He waited, even as he heard the distant sound of the sea duck's engines roaring to life, taking off to meet the iron vulture in midair. Eventually, however, he sat down, eyes dry and strong. He took a cigar, which had burnt down to nothing but a stubby roach, and put it on an ashtray on the table of the chair. He knew his part of his adventure was over, somehow, and the part he had played for the Duck Boys in PK, and all the rest was over. He could go back to Bahia, to try and rebuild a bed and breakfast there. Perhaps go to the hotel in Rio if he was still there. He had some money squirreled away. Perhaps he could finally rest on his laurels. Retire. Perhaps live somewhere waiting to return to the girls with stories of their youth. He was too old to marry, and soon be too old for the alternative, so perhaps he should stop thought. But then he thought of his time on the Sea Duck, time at Bahia, dealing with the personalities of the three boys, each so full of life and regrets, and futures in their own way. He thought back on Pachito, doing what he loved to do, still ready and able to at an even higher days than himself. He thought of his friend Donald. No, never retire. He thought, when the girls come back to him, they will tell me stories of their adventures, and I'll pay them right back with stories of mine. He smiled to himself, reached into the pocket of his coat for another cigar. He thought dimly that he might need to give that up soon, with thoughts of his health looming over his head. However, he let it up anyway. If he was going to live life as his girls were, he would live all of it, good and the bad. He stood quietly and walked out the door, down towards the front room of the tavern. Soon he would go back to Rio, and use what he had learned from doing to remake his hotel as a successful venture. Perhaps he would build a stage and give floor shows every now and again. In the meantime, however, a dear friend was downstairs, waiting to be entertained in the here and now. He would not disappoint, not as long as he was alive.
"All right, Junior, open up. We're coming in," said Huey to the CB.
"Let's see, Master Claude," asked that Spanish-influenced voice.
"All right, Junior, open up. We're coming in, motherfucker,"
answered Huey drawly. There was a momentary growl that was cut off mid-tone as Kid began to speak. "Watch your step around me, Mr. Duck. Yes, no? Remember how suddenly you were thrust the last time we kissed face to face. Remember, do not tempt me. You first." Under a pause, the CB went dead, and the iron frozen opened up. Huey smiled and pointed his nose towards the large ship. This was the home stretch. It had to be. And even if it's not, what a ride! Well, we're on chapter 19 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're not 6 episodes away. We're 4 chapters away from finishing this sucker. So yeah, and what a ride it's been!